I didn't really want to get married to him. He always gets all this attention, and I want people to look at me.
I didn't want kids. I didn't want to get married. I thought I was going to be a career girl, and that's it.
You want people to say, hey, girl, you got a fat ass. Ooh, I like you. She still ain't done. And I think...
Hey, y'all. So I just came back from eating some tacos, right? And I ran across that video with AY3SHA Curry talking about her marriage, basically talking about how she didn't want to be married, she didn't want to have kids, and she thought she was just going to be a career woman. The comedian Godfrey, he got a hold of it, listened to it in its entirety, and went thoroughly off. Like, that's only a snippet of what he said, as you can see, but he really just went off in that video because he's just like, you know, Steph Curry is a good guy, and she's just like making him look bad, and she's disrespecting him again and all this, right? So when I listened to the whole video, what I thought to myself was, okay, she's obviously, you know, wanting attention because she's, you know, she stresses she wants attention. She wants to be a career woman. But, you know, if you want to be a career woman, nothing is going to stop you from being a career woman if it's naturally in you, right? You're just going to be a career woman. You can still have a career if you're a married woman with kids. AY3SHA is in like a spectacular situation because she's married to Stephen Curry, right? Who is like super rich. So she could delve into any career that she wanted to, right? She could fulfill any dream that she ever could have possibly wished for herself because she has a husband that would fund it, right? And that would just let her test the waters, if nothing else, right? So it would just be, I guess it would be her consistency and her perseverance, you know, whether she makes the career what she wants it to be, right? Because it's not like she doesn't have the funds to do it. And then I thought, I was like, well, you know, she's been attached to him and they've been like a duo, right? And so she probably doesn't really know herself outside of him, because they've been together and they've had kids, and I think they got together pretty young, you know, and so she probably just knows herself to be a wife and a mom, and sometimes you can get lost in that, right? And so I'm not validating, you know, what, you know, I'm not valid if Godfrey feels like she's disrespecting her husband and bashing him in public and all that stuff. So I'm not validating that if that's what that is, but I am hearing her and I'm understanding that as a woman you can get lost in being a wife, and you can get lost in just being a mom. And then when you have a spouse who's like this superstar spouse who is fulfilling like all facets of his or aspects of his dream, right? And you know, he's known all over the world, and you know, so many people love him. And I don't, you know, me personally, if I was married to an NBA player, I wouldn't be seeking like attention or anything like that. I know Godfrey said she was like, oh, I want to be seen and all that stuff. Like, I wouldn't necessarily be seeking attention. I would just be doing my thing behind the scenes. So, you know, if there's a career that I wanted to get into, I would ask my husband to be my bank. Let me loan this, babe, because I have this career idea and I want to delve into this, okay? So I'd be doing my own thing, and while I'm also taking care of my kids. And doing that will probably keep her busy enough to not think about being, or I guess wanting attention. If she wants attention, I don't know if she wants attention from her husband. He is a ball player. Ball players are known to travel a lot and be gone a lot. And so maybe she's lonely without him. Maybe, you know, she gets lonely without him, you know, and maybe it's just her and the kids, and your friends can't be around you but so much, and maybe you don't always want to be around your family, you know. So it's like maybe she's lonely without him. So 9 times out of 10, to remedy that, you would have a career, you would have something, a hobby, something that you can do that will take up that time, so that, you know, you're not, you know, so much focused on wanting attention or being lonely and things like that. And so then when you and your husband come back together, it's like, hey babe, this is what I've been doing, or this is what I've been working on, or these are the results I got from this. And it's not so much as just talking about kids or school or something. It's talking about other things, right? So I don't claim to be a relationship expert or anything like that, but I just know personally that when you have other things to do outside of your spouse, when you are an individual person outside of your spouse, I feel it works a lot better that way. And most of the times, if one spouse is growing and doing things in their career and building themselves, and and another person is kind of like stagnant, it will cause friction in the relationship, because that one spouse isn't feeling seen, or wants attention, wants to be heard, wants to be recognized, wants to be known for something, right? I thought she was doing her cooking show or her cooking thing, whatever she was doing with her cooking thing. I thought that was her passion, and I thought she was going to flourish with that. Maybe she feels like she should have maybe flourished more in that because of who she is. She's Stephen Curry's wife, so maybe she thought that she would have gotten more attention. Maybe she thought that something would have been more major, but I just kind of feel like if you have a passion for something and you really, really, really love doing something, that you're going to do it regardless of whether someone's paying attention to you or not. And I have a lot of passions of mine, and I do it whether anyone's paying attention to me or not. Some people feel like, if you have minimal subscribers, or if you don't have a lot of views on your platform, or that would discourage you to just stop doing what you're doing, right? But if you really love it and you really have a passion for it, nothing is going to stop you from doing it. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like and a lot of times, views and subscriptions and things like that stuff is manipulated. There are people that can suppress your accounts. I've been the victim of that. I'm probably still a victim of it. You know what I mean? So just in knowing that information alone, that, if nothing else, that should just encourage you to just keep going. Like, whatever. Probably someone's messing with my views. I have concrete evidence that that's actually what has happened to me on some of my platforms. But like I said, if you have a passion for something, you won't let it stop you. I think AY3SHA might be lost. She might be a little lost. She may be trying to find herself. She may be trying to find herself individually outside of Stephen Curry. And most times in that case, it can cause a breakup, right? Because like I said, one person is elevating and the other one is kind of just sitting right there. And when you are together, that can cause friction. It can cause chaos, because the one that is crying out to be seen and heard and trying to find purpose, that's the one that's usually doing the hurting, right? But on the flip side, you also don't know what is going on, like the dynamic within their marriage. Sometimes husbands can do things to their wives behind the scenes that people don't know about, that can dim their light, that can make them feel small, that can make them feel like, keep them in a shell. Like, you just don't know. You don't know the relationship dynamics. So to Godfrey the comedian, I would say lighten up a little bit on AY3SHA Curry. We really don't know the full relationship dynamics. Yeah, in public, Godfrey, he looks like a great husband. He looks like a great father. And that is the image that it is given. That's what we see, right? But we're not in their relationship. We don't know what's going on behind the scenes. We don't know how he handles her, and no shade to Stephen. I'm not saying that he handles her wrong, but we just don't know, right? Like, why is she feeling so lonely? And why is she feeling like that? You know what I mean? And so it's time for some self-reflection, right? And sometimes most of the time, self-reflection triggers growth. And most of the time, that's something you got to do by yourself. So, if divorce is looming in the future, or maybe a temporary separation, they might need to get prepared for that. Because if she keeps going this route, And that picture where she was laying on his shoulder looking lost in the eyes, and him looking at her with hurt in his eyes, like he felt like he done lost her already, okay? And he don't know how to get her back. It just say 1,000 words. It really, really does. So that's my take on it. Comment, y'all.